Commander Zyx-9 adjusted his ocular enhancers, squinting through the view screen at the blue-green planet growing larger by the second. The command deck of the Galactic Scout ship, Inevitable Conquest, hummed with anticipation. Behind him, Lieutenant Vorla suppressed a giggle, an unseemly reaction for the third-ranking officer of the most advanced reconnaissance vessel in the Hexalian fleet. Something amusing, Lieutenant. ZYX-9 asked without turning around. Vorla straightened immediately. Apologies, Commander. I was reviewing the preliminary scans of Earth's defense systems. Their technology is... She paused, searching for a diplomatic term. Charmingly obsolete. Science Officer Krax joined them, his seven-finger hand sliding across the holographic display. That's putting it mildly. They are still using combustion engines and silicon-based computing. The most advanced human aircraft wouldn't survive 5 seconds against our atmospheric repulsors. Commander ZYX-9 nodded thoughtfully. The Hexalian Empire had sent them to assess Earth as a potential addition to their growing collection of tributary planets. Standard procedure: observe, evaluate technological capability, determine resistance potential, and report back. A simple mission. Don't get overconfident, ZYX-9 cautioned. Supreme Leader Qual wants a thorough assessment. We follow protocol. Of course, Commander, Krax replied, though his tone suggested he considered this mission beneath his considerable talents. But consider, they haven't even unified their planet under a single government. They're divided into hundreds of squabbling territories. Some still fight with projectile weapons. The bridge crew didn't bother hiding their amusement now. Even Navigator Plex, usually serious to a fault, was smirking at her console. Projectile weapons, Lieutenant Vorla repeated, her voice rising with incredulity. They propel metal pellets with chemical explosions. Can you imagine? Commander ZYX-9 raised a hand for silence. Enough. We are professionals, not academy cadets. Prepare the stealth shuttle. We will conduct closer reconnaissance according to standard procedures. Yes, Commander. The crew responded in unison, though their expressions remained smug. ZYX-9 couldn't entirely blame them. The Hexalian Empire had encountered dozens of developing civilizations, but Earth was peculiar even by provincial standards. Despite achieving basic spaceflight, humans remained stubbornly attached to primitive technologies. Their planet was a confounding mix of advancement and backwardness. Digital communications alongside vehicles that still rolled on rubber wheels. Stealth systems engaged, announced Security Chief Drex as they boarded the shuttle. His massive frame barely fit through the hatch. Like all Hexalian security personnel, Drex had been genetically enhanced for combat, with reinforced skeletal structure and accelerated neural pathways. Though I doubt these humans could detect us, even if we flew through their atmosphere with illumination beacons blazing. ZYX-9 ignored the comment. Our mission is observation only. We will visit their largest military installation to assess their weapons capability. He referenced the data screen. The humans call it the Pentagon. Such primitive architecture, Krax muttered as images of the 5-sided building appeared on the screen. They still build structures out of concrete and steel. The shape has religious significance. Vorla asked. Unknown, Krax replied, though humans do seem irrationally attached to geometric symbolism. The shuttle detached silently from the inevitable conquest, its quantum drive engaging with barely a whisper. Within moments, they had passed through Earth's upper atmosphere, completely undetected by the planet's rudimentary radar systems. Adjusting trajectory for Washington, D.C., Navigator Plex announced. Maintaining cloud cover for visual concealment, though it's hardly necessary with our reflection technology. The shuttle sliced through dense cumulus formations, emerging occasionally to reveal the sprawling eastern seaboard of the North American continent. ZYX-9 studied the landscape with professional detachment. The human settlements were haphazard, without the logical grid patterns of Hexalian cities. Roads curved needlessly. Buildings varied wildly in height and design. Inefficient. Approaching target, Plex announced. The Pentagon is directly below. Activate full stealth protocols, ZYX-9 ordered. Prepare molecular displacement for infiltration. The shuttle hovered invisibly above the massive building. Soon, A shimmering field enveloped the 5 hexalians, reconfiguring their molecular structure to match the frequency of Earth matter. This technology, perfected centuries ago by hexalian scientists, allowed them to pass through solid objects as if they were no more substantial than vapor. Remember, IX-9 instructed as they descended through the roof, "We observe only. No interaction with the humans." They phased effortlessly through concrete, steel, and electrical systems, finally materializing in a corridor deep within the building. The molecular displacement field maintained their invisibility while allowing them to solidify enough to walk on the floor rather than sink through it. Primitive electronic security, Cracks observed, scanning the cameras mounted in the corners. They're still using visual light spectrum for surveillance. Drex snorted, and physical barriers for protection. He gestured at a heavy door with a keycard reader. They keep things locked behind metal. Focus, ZYX-9 reminded them. We need to locate their weapons development section. They moved silently through the corridors, passing humans who remained completely unaware of their presence. ZYX-9 observed the military personnel with clinical interest. Despite their obvious technological disadvantages, the humans moved with purpose and discipline. "This way," Vorla whispered, following readings on her scanner. "I'm detecting unusual energy signatures." They passed through several more security doors before entering a large laboratory space. Inside, humans in white coats clustered around various workstations. Holographic displays, crude by hexalian standards but still somewhat impressive, showed rotating schematics of weapon systems. "Interesting," Cracks murmured, moving closer to examine one display. "They are developing directed energy weapons. Still in early stages, but the principles are sound. These are their advanced prototypes." Drex asked incredulously. "My ceremonial stun baton has more firepower than these designs." ZYX-9 moved deeper into the lab, his attention drawn to a sealed chamber at the far end. The security there was noticeably heavier. Armed guards stood at attention outside reinforced doors. Whatever they are protecting must be their most critical technology, he observed. "Let's investigate." The hexalians passed through the doors as easily as walking through mist, emerging into a smaller, more secure laboratory. Only 3 humans worked here, their attention focused on a cylindrical device mounted on a testing platform. Cracks immediately began scanning. "Unusual. This isn't a conventional weapon. It's generating a field of some kind, but I can't identify the principle." "Is it dangerous?" Vorla asked. "Not to us," Cracks replied confidently. "Our defensive shields can withstand anything these humans could possibly." The device suddenly pulsed with blue light. Cracks froze mid-sentence, his expression shifting from smugness to confusion. "That's odd. I'm experiencing some kind of interference with my scanner. Similar disruption in our stealth field," Vorla reported, checking her instruments. "Minor fluctuation, but..." One of the humans looked up sharply, glancing around the room. "Did you see that?" he asked his colleagues. "See what, Dr. Nakamura?" Another human responded. "A shimmer, like heat distortion. Right there." He pointed directly at where the hexalians stood. "Impossible," Drex whispered. "Our stealth technology is undetectable." "Retreat," ZYX-9 ordered quietly. "Maintain silence and proceed to the exit point." They began moving toward the door, but the blue light pulsed again, stronger this time. "There!" Dr. Nakamura exclaimed. "Richardson, are you getting readings from the QPED?" The third human checked a display. "Quantum field disturbance, localized at coordinates matching your visual." His voice rose with excitement. "The quantum probability entanglement detector is working." ZYX-9 felt a chill that had nothing to do with the room's temperature. "Move. Now." The hexalians quickened their pace, but with each step, the blue pulsing intensified. Alarms began to sound. "Security alert," announced an automated voice. "Unknown presence detected in Sector 7. All personnel evacuate. Countermeasures initializing." "Impossible," Cracks repeated, genuine fear now evident in his voice. "They shouldn't have technology capable of detecting our quantum signatures." The laboratory doors slid shut. Gas began pouring from ceiling vents. "Molecular displacement to maximum," ZYX-9 ordered. "We phase through the walls directly." But when they attempted to move through the solid barrier, ZYX-9 felt resistance, something he'd never experienced before. Their displacement technology still functioned, but it felt like moving through thick liquid rather than air. The quantum field is affecting our molecular cohesion, Crax reported, his voice tight with strain. I don't understand how they could have developed this technology. With effort, they pushed through the wall, emerging into a corridor now filled with rushing security personnel. Red lights flashed everywhere. Back to the shuttle, ZYX-9 commanded. Maximum speed. They moved as quickly as they could while maintaining their increasingly unstable invisibility. Behind them, humans were donning strange-looking goggles and pointing handheld devices that emitted the same blue light as the laboratory equipment. "They are tracking us," Vorla exclaimed. "Impossible," Crax said for the third time, though his protest now sounded hollow. They passed through several more levels, their progress slowing as the building's strange countermeasures intensified. Whatever the humans had developed, it was specifically interfering with Hexalian phase technology. "We are approaching the roof access," Navigator Plex reported, "but our displacement field is degrading rapidly. Just maintain it until we reach the shuttle," ZYX-9 ordered. They pushed through the final ceiling, emerging onto the roof, only to find it surrounded by human military vehicles. Soldiers in specialized gear aimed weapons upward, directly at their invisible shuttle. "How can they see our shuttle?" Drex demanded. "It's completely phase-shifted." Before anyone could respond, a barrage of blue pulses shot from the human weapons. When they struck the shuttle's hull, the stealth field rippled and partially failed, revealing glimpses of the advanced craft beneath. "Quantum destabilizers," Crax whispered, horrified recognition in his voice. "They have developed quantum destabilizers." "That's impossible," ZYX-9 said, finally sharing his crew's disbelief. "That technology requires understanding of 11-dimensional physics." More pulses struck the shuttle, causing greater disruption to its cloaking system. The humans were systematically revealing their craft, section by section. "We must reach the shuttle before they disable it completely," ZYX-9 decided. "Prepare for emergency extraction." They rushed forward, but the humans' strange weapons now turned toward them. Blue pulses struck the ground near their feet. Where the energy touched, their invisibility flickered momentarily. "How are they targeting us?" Vorla cried. "Our displacement should make us completely undetectable." A pulse struck Drex directly. For a moment, his massive form became partially visible to the humans, a shimmering, translucent outline of an alien figure. Shouts of alarm rose from the soldiers. "Contact confirmed. Non-terrestrial entities on the roof." The Hexalians abandoned all pretense of stealth, making a desperate sprint for their increasingly visible shuttle. Blue pulses flew around them, each one further destabilizing their molecular cohesion. They reached the shuttle just as its entry hatch became visible. The craft's automatic defense systems had activated, projecting a barrier against the quantum pulses, but it was clearly struggling against the unexpected attack. "Get inside," ZYX-9 ordered as the hatch opened. They scrambled aboard, the interior systems immediately working to restabilize their phase state. Through the viewports, they could see dozens of human soldiers surrounding the now partially visible shuttle, more vehicles arriving by the second. "Launch immediately," ZYX-9 commanded. Navigator Plex activated the quantum drive, but instead of the usual smooth acceleration, the shuttle shuddered violently. "Drive is destabilized," she reported, panic evident in her voice. "The quantum pulses have disrupted the field coherence." "How is this possible?" Crax demanded, his scientific arrogance completely evaporated. "Their technology is centuries behind ours." "Apparently not in all respects," ZYX-9 replied grimly. "Reroute power to conventional thrusters. We need altitude immediately." The shuttle lurched upward, its stealth capabilities now completely compromised. On the ground, humans pointed and recorded with personal devices as the alien craft rose into the sky. "They have seen us," Vorla stated unnecessarily. "First contact protocols have been violated." "That's the least of our concerns," ZYX-9 replied. "Crax, report on shuttle damage." The science officer was frantically working at his console. Quantum drive is offline. Stealth systems compromised, but the conventional propulsion is functional. We can reach the inevitable conquest, but it will take approximately 17 minutes at maximum acceleration. And the humans? Cracks check the sensors. They're scrambling aircraft, primitive jet interceptors. No threat to us, even in our compromised state. But as they accelerated through the upper atmosphere, alarms blared. Energy spike from the surface. Vorla reported. Massive power signature. A blue beam shot upward from somewhere near the Pentagon, striking the shuttle with devastating precision. The entire craft shuddered, systems flickering. Status. ZYX-9 demanded. They have hit us with a concentrated quantum destabilizer. Cracks reported, his voice hollow with disbelief. Larger version of the handheld weapons. It's disrupting our molecular integrity on a structural level. Can we outrun it? Accelerating to maximum, but hull integrity is failing. If we don't reach the inevitable conquest soon, he didn't need to finish the thought. If their shuttle's molecular structure fully destabilized, they would dissolve into their component atoms. The blue beam followed them as they climbed higher, growing somewhat weaker with distance, but still maintaining its lock on their craft. Approaching exosphere, Plex announced. Inevitable conquest on approach vector. Through the forward viewport, they could see their mothership descending to meet them. Its massive form dwarfed their shuttle, weapon systems already activating in response to the unexpected threat. Defensive shields at maximum, came the voice of the mothership's captain. Shuttle, prepare for emergency docking. Just as the shuttle reached the inevitable conquest docking bay, a final surge from the Earth-based weapon struck them. The shuttle's rear section destabilized completely, dissolving into a cloud of component particles. Alarms blared throughout both vessels as the partially disintegrated shuttle crashed into the docking bay. Emergency containment fields activated immediately, preventing catastrophic decompression. ZYX-9 and his team were rushed to the medical bay, their own molecular structures partially compromised by proximity to the weapon's effects. Report, demanded Fleet Admiral Kurtz, who had been observing the mission from the inevitable conquest. His holographic image hovered above ZYX-9's medical pod. Unexpected technological capability, ZYX-9 reported, his voice weak. The humans have somehow developed quantum physics applications despite their otherwise primitive technology. They detected our stealth technology and deployed effective countermeasures. Impossible, the Admiral replied automatically. With respect, sir, Cracks interjected from his adjacent pod. We all said that repeatedly during the mission. The evidence suggests we were wrong. Silence fell in the medical bay as the implications sank in. Finally, the Admiral spoke. The Supreme Leader must be informed immediately. If the humans have mastered quantum destabilization technology, then they pose a much greater threat than we anticipated. ZYX-9 finished. Their conventional military technology may be primitive, but they have developed the one thing that can neutralize our greatest advantage. How could they have advanced so far in this one area while remaining so backward in others? Vorla wondered aloud. Science Officer Cracks, humbled by the day's events, offered a hypothesis. Perhaps their fractured governmental system actually accelerated development in certain fields. Different approaches, competing theories. It's inefficient by our standards, but it might occasionally produce unexpected breakthroughs. Admiral Kurtz's hologram flickered as he considered this. Your recommendations, Commander? ZYX-9 didn't hesitate. Full retreat. Maintain observation from beyond lunar orbit. Reassess all previous intelligence on Earth technologies. And most importantly, he added grimly, warn the Supreme Leader that conquest of Earth would be significantly more costly than anticipated. And if these humans decide to pursue us, the Admiral asked, they have seen our technology now. Then we face a species that appears primitive, but has mastered at least one technology that not only equals, but counters our own. ZYX-9 replied. A species that somehow developed quantum physics applications while still burning fossil fuels. I don't know which is more disturbing, their technological inconsistency or the possibility that the primitive appearance is deliberate misdirection. Outside the medical bay viewport, Earth continued its serene rotation. Blue oceans, and white clouds concealing civilization far more dangerous than it appeared. Set course for Hexalian space, Admiral Kurtz ordered, his voice heavy with new respect for the supposedly primitive planet below. And prepare a comprehensive report for the Supreme Leader. The humans and their deceptively primitive weapons require further study from a safe distance. As the inevitable conquest accelerated away from Earth, Commander Zyx-9 gazed one last time at the receding blue planet. Somewhere below, humans were examining whatever remained of their shuttle, learning, adapting. He shuddered at the thought. Lieutenant Vorla, recovering in the pod beside him, voiced what they were all thinking. So much for charming obsolescence. A valuable lesson, Zyx-9 replied. Never judge a species' capability by its most visible technology. Do you think they developed the quantum technology specifically to defend against beings like us? Navigator Plex asked quietly. N01 answered immediately. The possibility was too disturbing to contemplate. The humans might have known about the wider galactic community all along and had been preparing, whether by brilliant accident or deliberate design. Zyx-9 finally said they were ready for us, and that perhaps is the most primitive weapon of all, the element of surprise. As the inevitable conquest slipped into faster-than-light travel, an emergency transmission arrived from another scout ship assigned to Earth's solar system. Unusual activity detected on Mars, the message read. Evidence of recent human presence and testing sites. Appears they have been experimenting with their quantum technology away from their home planet. Recommend immediate reassessment of threat level. Zyx-9 closed his eyes, no longer shocked by Earth capabilities. Whatever game the humans were playing with their mix of primitive and advanced technologies, the Hexalian Empire had clearly underestimated them. Tell Supreme Leader Qual, he dictated to his communication officer, that Earth is not a potential conquest. It is a potential threat, and recommend we revise our first contact protocols immediately. The final words of his report would echo through the highest levels of the Hexalian government in the days to come. Earth's primitive appearance conceals capabilities we cannot fully assess. Their technological development defies our understanding of civilizational progress. Until we comprehend how they achieve this, engagement with Earth is not recommended under any circumstances. As the transmission ended, Zyx-9 added a personal note that would eventually become famous throughout the galaxy. We came to mock their primitive weapons. We left fearing what else they might have developed while pretending to be less advanced than they are. Perhaps that is humanity's greatest weapon of all. They fight with primitive tools because their advanced ones are too terrifying to reveal except when absolutely necessary.